of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. She added something in there. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. Mm, he just switched it up. It was Yah told her that you gonna surely die. The serpent says, you shall not surely die. This is the confusion right here from the top. For Elohim do know, now he's gonna show you how he confuses her. For Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil. So here he places pride into her, and he makes her believe that Yah is trying to keep something from her. Yah is holding something back from you. He's not letting you be as great as you can be. You can be just like him. You don't need him. You can be your own God. So he's bringing in this confusion. Now, watch. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Now, which tree is this she just ate from? It's called the tree of good and evil. But notice, Eve don't see the evil in the tree. All she see is good. Verse 6 again. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So again, she don't see the evil in the tree anymore. But this tree is confusion. It has both elements, both good and bad in it. But she don't see the evil in it anymore. All she sees is the good because now she thinks that she's about to get something and she's about to be elevated in her mind. So he has just sold her the wine. She is drunk. So now has wandered off of the path of Yah, right? So she's confused. Little bit of truth, and then the shining one deceives her. Now, in the Bible, it is depicted of two great women in the book. There's two great women in the book. It's Jerusalem and there's Babylon. Now, we have to figure out what's the difference between the two cities. Both are depicted as women, right? Not to mess with nobody on here, but when you put a bunch of women in a room, you usually get something confusion. So, but it's two women, both depicted. Two things in here depicted as women, Babylon and Jerusalem, right? Again, what makes confusion? It's two things being mixed that don't go together. So now let's see what's the difference between the two women. We're going to walk it down, right? Let's get Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. So, Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So, this is what he's likened the daughter of Babylon, Jerusalem to, or Zion to, as a comely and a delicate woman. So, she's beautiful and she's delicate. All right. Well, let's keep that in mind. This is how he's describing Jerusalem in its real state, not what it has become, but the woman that he's coming back to save and to marry. So we got to make sure, if you're a sister, you got to make sure that you line up with this being a comely and a delicate woman. not the other way around of what the world has turned most of our sisters into, right? First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. It says, remember this woman is lovely and delicate. In like manner also, that women should adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and with sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array. So we see that the woman that Yah is looking for is a certain type of a way. She's shamefaced, she's quiet, she's modest, right? And she's not into costly array, pearls and costly array, right? So this is the way he's depicting. He wants Jerusalem to be, or Jerusalem is, right? Now let's get Revelation chapter 17. Go back up there with noise. Revelation chapter 17, verse 3. Let's see the other woman. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away into this ruach, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. So we can see a stark difference with this woman. She's beautiful, but she's not modest. This woman is got everything on opposite of what the other one has on, right? Verse 5, and upon her head, a forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahusha. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now, John knows exactly what's in the cup, but he's looking at this woman in amazement because she's so beautiful. And he says he wondered, right? What does wonder mean? To wonder at, marvel, to be wondered at, to be held in admiration. But when you wander, you're going off direction. You're not going straight anymore. You're wandering, even though John knows exactly what's in the cup and that this woman is evil. He's intrigued by it. He can't stop looking at it or her. And he's wandering away. It's what it means to wander or to roam. You're going off direction, but most of the time when you wander, you don't know it. It's a subtle, smooth thing, right? So we see one is very flashy and one is modest. One is loud and drunk, right? Let's further see this other woman. Let's get Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 5. Let's see this other woman. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 5. Mm, 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 mm. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 5. Well, we'll pick it up at verse 4. Say unto wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that that you may keep you from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. So this is a strange woman, and she uses smooth, seductive words. She flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement or blinds, and I beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youth a young man void of understanding. Remember, it says, lean not to your own understanding. Eve leaned to her own understanding when the serpent gave her the smooth words. 8. Passing through the streets near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. So it's dark. When it's dark, it's hard to see in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. So notice this woman is dressed in the harlot's gear, just like in Revelation, but we know that it's fancy gear. It's decked in silver and gold and precious stones and all of these things. Notice, and she's subtle of heart, just like the serpent in in the beginning. Now it gives her, remember in Jeremiah 6, it says that this was a comely and delicate woman. But peep verse 11. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house, right? Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So this woman is the complete opposite of the woman that he wants Jerusalem to be, right? They're completely opposite of each other, but both are beautiful. One is flashy, one is modest, right? Uh, Gotta read verse 13. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face, and said unto him, so it says he has an impudent face. What does that mean? Impudent. It means to be strong, prevail, to make firm or strengthen. So this woman has a strong face. But when you think of a strong face, you think of a man, like the Superman jawline. So this woman has a strong face similar to a man. Now I want y'all to think about what's going on in the world right now. When there's a man and he acts like a woman, if a child sees this or anybody sees it, it brings confusion. If you have a woman and she's acting like a man, this brings confusion because you're mixing two things. You have a female acting like a man and a man acting like a woman. This is confusion. Two things that don't coincide with one another, causes people to wander away, right? Mm. So we gotta see something. Let's get 2 Kings 22 at verse 1. 2 Kings 22. Where's my Second Kings at? 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1. I think that's what I want. One moment, one moment. Hold on, hold on. Let me go back to my notes. Nah, scratch that joint right there. Give me Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. My apologies. Matthew 7 and 13. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. So it says, enter you in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So we're supposed to be on a straight and a narrow path. But if you drink the wine from this woman, you're going to become confused and you're going to wander out of the path. You're not going to be going straight. So when they give you a sobriety test, whatever that's called, the one thing that they ask you to do is to walk a straight line, to put your heel in front of your toe and do this. And when you are drunk, you cannot walk the path straight. You wander right off of it because your senses are confused. You can't do a simple thing like walking in a straight line. That's what this woman is trying to cause you to do, but she's using the wine to do it. Verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that finds it. So it's letting us know that the majority of the world is on the wine and they're going to wander off of the path. Only the people who stay sober, right? That's not under this spiritual wine, but physical wine is going to show you how it actually works. So it's trying to cause you to wander or go astray off of the straight and narrow path. So when Peter says, "Be ye sober, be vigilant, for your adversary is a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour," it's talking about this. Physical wine is bad, but the spiritual wine is even worse. There's nothing wrong with having a drink. Myself and my aunt Manaya, we both do wine, but it's not to get drunk and to cause you to wander off of the path. Again, verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Again, is letting you know that the majority of the world is on the wine. It's only a few small crowd that's going to find the narrow path because they're not under the influence of the wine, right? Now, Babylon is a city. What? It's a city, but it's spread all over the world. She is spread it all over the world. It's worldwide, even though it's a literal city. So this whore has gotten the world drunk with her wine, right? So again, when you go to a college party, I want you to think about tying this into the physical world. When you was in college or you was at a college party, they took all types of liquor and wine and fruit punch and Skittles and Everclear and Jack Daniels, both light and dark liquors, and they mixed it up into a giant big bowl, right? And they put bags of Skittles and all type of other sweet candies in there. So when you drink this stuff, it doesn't even hit you at first, but it's mixed. Light and dark don't mix. So when you drink this, it's very tasty up front, but before you know it, you're doing things that you could never think that you would do. Right then, you have wandered off the path. In the spiritual world, this is what she is doing, right? And then you're confused. You end up somewhere you don't know how you got there. A woman end up with a baby and she don't know who the father is because she's in confusion. So she bring a bunch of people on the Jerry show or Maury, and she knows that she was with six, 4 or 5 different people, but she don't know who the father is because she's drank this physical wine and she was drunk. Now she is confused on who the father is, right? Right. So, but nobody wants to be the father of the double weights or the hood huzzy, right? Let's get Genesis chapter 19. Let's go back in the spiritual. Genesis 19 and 32. Genesis 19 and 32. 19 and 32. It says, "Come, let us let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father." So notice they're getting him drunk with wine. Now, this has to be like that college wine to get this man like this. And they are drunk to even do this. Because when you drunk, you lose your inhibition. Things that you would never do, you'll do it when you under the influence of wine. Again, take this physically and spiritually. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. So she's basically went in and raped her father, right? She's went in and raped her father. She did the unthinkable. She's drunk off of this wine. She just did the unthinkable. Makes no sense. But he is so drunk from the physical wine that he don't even know when she came in the room or when she left out. Verse 34. And it came to pass on the morrow or the next day that the firstborn said unto her younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go you in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Same thing the next night. He's so drunk, he don't know when she got up or when she left out. So now the younger daughter has raped him as well. Verse 36. Thus were both of the daughters of Lot with child by their father. So now when they go somewhere and they ask, who's the baby's fathers? Who's little Moab and who's little Ammon's daddy? And they say their father. Imagine the confusion on these people's faces when they see this. What? So Lot is these babies' father and he's their grandfather. These children are both brother and their cousins. This is sick. This is sick stuff. So keep this again on physical and in the spiritual way. It shows you the reason why you shouldn't be drunk in a physical way nor in the spiritual way. All right. So one moment. Let's get Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 12. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 12. Because that is confusion. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 12. It says, if a man lie with his daughter in law, in this case it was his daughter, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. Notice what it calls this. It calls it confusion. Babylon means confusion by mixing. Again, it's putting two things together that don't go. Father and daughter don't go. Neither does man and his daughter in law. It doesn't go. So it calls it confusion. This is what Babylon strives on. That's its strength. It has this wine that causes people to be confused. That's its strength, is to cause you to be confused. Revelation 17 and verse 4 again. Revelation chapter 17, verse 4 again. Oops. Revelation 17, verse 4. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. So she has a nice cup in her hand, kind of like the pimp cups they used to have when Little John and them was out. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. So this wine that she has in her cup is going out to the whole world. It's not just in one place in the city, but it's spread out. Now, this woman is masculine. I mean, she's feminine, it's feminine, but it has a masculine attribute to it. It's feminine, but it has masculine attributes to it. That is two things that don't go. So, fellas, when they tell you get in touch with your feminine side, there shouldn't be no feminine side because you're not a woman, right? But this woman is feminine, but she has a masculine spirit on her. So, let's see something else. Let's go back to the physical world. First Kings 21, verse 1. First Kings 21, verse 1. First Kings 21, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. So notice he has a vineyard. What's made in vineyards? Wine. Verse 2. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for a better vineyard, that it that is that it or it if it seem good to you, I will give thee the worth of it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, Yahuwah forbid it, that I should give the inheritance of my father unto you. And Ahab came unto his house heavy and displeased, because the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my father. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would not eat no bread. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, why is your ruach so sad that you eatest no bread? And he said, like a simp. And he said unto her, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and he said unto me, give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please you, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So you can see Ahab is playing a feminine role, and Jezebel is now playing the masculine role. This shouldn't be. This is Babylon. This is confusion, right? Hope y'all can see this. This is Babylon. This is much, much confusion that's being wrought right here. So let's get First Kings 18 and verse 19. First Kings 18, 19. First Kings 18 and verse 19. She says, Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So Jezebel is, even though Ahab is the king in name only, it's actually Jezebel that's the king. She is the one that's doing the orders and controlling everything. Ahab is only the king in name. This woman is very, very masculine, and she is feeding the prophets. She have them eating at her table. If she have them eating, she also would have them drinking from the cup that she has, right? So this woman is very beautiful. She's feminine, but she's masculine at the same time. She is actually ordering the murders of the prophets, right? Let's see in the spiritual world what this whore is doing. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and have become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So notice it says, drunk of the wine of the wrath. That means that this woman is going to eventually force the nations like a man, like Lot's daughters did to him, even though they didn't technically force him, it was their father, so he trusted them. But this woman is like a man, she's going to force, right? And it says, with the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication. The same thing that they was doing with Jezebel in the physical world, this one is going to do it in the spiritual world. So she got power over the kings of the earth and committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So again, this woman is very beautiful, but she's masculine and strong faced and strong willed at the same time, like a man. Even though this is a physical city, but she has wrought her magic, her power all over the world, right? So again, when you see these men saying that they are women, and these women that saying that they are men, and you ask the question to them, what is a woman? And they can't give you a straight answer. It's, well, a woman is, anything that you deem it to be a woman. So one day, if I want to be a woman, I'm a woman. And the next day, I want to be a man. So they're saying that it is more than two genders. This is confusion. All of these people that you see doing this is in confusion. When you see a grown man trying to date a child and they got this new stuff out here, Say we're not going to call it pedophilia anymore. We're going to call it uh, minor attraction, minor attracted person. This is the wine. This is confusion that these people are under. That's why they're doing what they're doing, right? Keep all this in mind. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. Jeremiah 51, verse 6. Back to the spiritual. Jeremiah 51, verse 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand that made the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So this wine causes people to be mad or confused. That's what this woman is doing to the entire world. Physical city, but it has spread the wine throughout the world. And this wine is causing these people, in this sense, to be mad. They are losing their mind. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so she be, if so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let her go, every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto Shamaim and is lifted up even to the skies. So what she is doing, it has reached new heights. It is going all the way up to the sky. I want you to think about the original Babylon, what them people tried to do. They tried to build a temple that would reach the heavens. This is what this is saying right here, that is lifted up even to the skies. So her sins have heaped up the same way they built the tower to reach the heaven. Her sins have reached up to heaven. Eventually, they're going to reach there. And when they reach to the heavens, that's when Yah is going to act on it, right? So this wine drives people crazy. It makes people do the unthinkable, right? What would make them people tear up the Bible and curse Yah and say the craziest stuff and hold the sign that says, I'm going to hell and I'm proud of it. What makes you lose your inhibition to do anything? What makes a coward all of a sudden become a tough guy and ready to fight? In the physical world, they call it liquid courage. Wine or strong drink or whatever the case makes you to lose your fear. This fear or this wine causes you to lose your fear even of Yah. This is why Adam and Eve wasn't afraid to do this. They wasn't afraid of death anymore, and they went ahead and did it because they thought that they wouldn't die. So let's go again to a physical woman and see the attributes. Let's go to Genesis 39, verse 1. Genesis 39, verse 1. So let's see a physical woman again with these same attributes. Genesis 39, verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt and to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guards of each of the Egyptians, and brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites which had brought him down thither. So it says Potiphar is an officer. Let's look that word up. It says official or a eunuch. I'll try to keep that in mind that Potiphar is a eunuch. He's an official, but he's a eunuch. Most of the time in these people's cabinets, the closest people to them to ensure that they wouldn't mess with their wives, they made them eunuchs. So Potiphar here is a eunuch. Keep that in mind. It's crucial to this. Verse 2. And Yahuwah was with Joseph, and he was prosperous, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his masters saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah had made all that he had did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house. And all that he had, he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahuwah blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sakes, and blessed Yahuwah was upon, and the blessing of Yahuwah was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hands, and he knew not, and he knew aught. He had saved the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, lie with me. So we have an aggressive woman. I'm pretty sure she's very beautiful, but she's very aggressive. She says, lie with me. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in this house, and he have committed all that he have to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I. Joseph is kind of proud right here. Potiphar is greater. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither have he kept back anything from me but thee or you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Elohim? And it came to pass as he spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. So she's coming on to Joseph very strong. Every day she's doing this. But why would she do this? Why would she be so bold to do this in her master's house? This is a very aggressive woman, very masculine. At the same time that she's doing this, she's doing this in Potiphar's house. Potiphar has the power to kill you if he so chooses to. And she's doing this and taking this risk in this man's house. But why would she be so hard up to do this? Oh, because Potiphar himself is a eunuch. He's castrated, so she hasn't been being satisfied in this way. So he's a eunuch. Verse 11. And it came to pass at about that time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there. And she caught him by his garment. So now it's not just talking to him no more. She's getting physical with him. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me, and let and he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. This is what it means to flee ye from fornication. He's running from it. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of the house and spake unto them, saying, see, he have brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. And he came in unto me loud voice, lying. Now she's going back into feminist, into being a feminine woman. And it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his master came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass as I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, when she spake, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. Now, if he knows that Joseph didn't do this, because he would have killed him. You did this in my house? Well, watch this. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in prison. So this woman was playing the harlot, very strong willed, and now she has played this thing with Joseph and got him locked up in jail, but she is very beautiful and strong, the same way that Jezebel is, and the same way that the whore in Revelation is. It's forced fornication upon the man. So, feminine and masculine in one person, this again is confusion. So Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto Shamaim, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So they know fully well what they were doing. They know that Yah said to go and spread out all over the earth. But they said, Nope, we not doing that. So what do Yah do to them to stop them from accomplishing their plans? He confuses the language. So Yah uses confusion to confuse them. But in turn, what have they done to the whole world? They have brought confusion to the whole world from this wine that the whore has in her golden cup, right? Let's see something else. Let's get Daniel chapter 4. Let's go physical again. Daniel chapter 4. Where's my Daniel? Daniel chapter 4. We're going to pick it up at verse 33. This is Nebuchadnezzar. It says, And the same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of Shamaim, till his hair were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto Shamaim, and mine understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High, and praised him, and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is everlasting dominion, and his kingdom from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of Shamaim, and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto him, What doest thou? And at the same time my reason returned unto me, and the esteem of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my masters sought me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of Shamaim, all whose works are truth, and his ways and his judgment, and those that walk in pride. He is able to abase. So Nebuchadnezzar was walking in pride, and he had to humble himself. And when he humbled himself, Yah restored his kingdom. I want you to keep that in mind. Let's go to Daniel chapter 5 and verse 1. Let's talk about his son now. Daniel chapter 5 and verse 1. Belteshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the thousands. He's drinking wine. Belteshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines might drink therein. So the red cups that we drink wine and stuff out of, they not good enough for him now. He goes and get Yah's golden and silver cups for this occasion. He getting the best of the best. He is beside himself. The wine has got this man out of his mind. He's seen what happened to his father, but he does this anyway. This is what happens when you're under the influence of the wine. So now he is drunk from this wine. Again, Revelation 17, verse 4, I'm not going to go there. She had a golden cup in her hand, full of filthiness of abomination, and this wine causes people to be bizarre. Theocracy, she is made from wine, she is drunk with the power of the wine. It says Babylon has fallen, has fallen. It is fallen because it is drunk. When you drink enough, you're eventually going to fall over and fall out. And eventually, if you drink too much, you're going to die. This is what this woman is doing. So we can see Belteshazzar is drunk off the same wine that his father was drunk off of. And but his father repented. He sobered up. Belteshazzar didn't. We're going to come back to him. Second Kings chapter 9, verse 30. Let's go back to the woman, the physical woman again. She's the mirror image of the spiritual woman. Second Kings chapter 9, verse 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard it, and she painted her face. Now she's going to get beautiful. She paints her face and tied her head. She put on a head wrap and looked out at the window. And Jehu entered in at the gate. She said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master? Remember, they wanted to steal Naboth's vineyard, make wine from vineyard. And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down. Mm, Babylon is fallen. It's fallen. This is Jezebel. He said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trod her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go see this cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and her feet and the palms of her hand. Wherefore they came again and told him and said, this is the word of Yahuwah which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall the dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcasses of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. So we see Jezebel died a horrible death. She was thrown out of a window, or she fell out of a window. She used flattering words in the same way that it's talking about. So Satan used flattering words to Eve in the beginning. This whore is going to use flattering words to deceive the people at the end. Let's see something about words. Revelation chapter 16 at verse 13. Revelation chapter 16 and about verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth. Just like Jezebel was over Ahab and she really was the king, this woman is over the kings of the earth and the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Elohim Almighty. Right? Behold, I am come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So it compared this spirit to a frog. Now, what is a frog's strength? What does it catch its prey with? Catches its prey with its tongue. So it shoots its tongue out and it catches its prey. This is what Satan did to Eve. He didn't get her with a hatchet or a sledgehammer and beat her in the head with it. He used his mouth to reel her in. This is what the false prophet, the dragon, and the antichrist is going to use. The words. The whore is using the words to reel you in, just like a frog uses its terms. Now, all the world is using the wine. So Christianity is spreading the wine. Islam is spreading the wine. Judaism is spreading the wine. Buddhism is spreading the wine. And the quote unquote Hebrew Israelite movement is also spreading the wine of the whore. They all are playing a role in it, right? Deuteronomy 13, verse 1. So he don't want you to get caught up. Remember, it's using its words to get you caught up. The only way you're going to avoid it is to really listen to what it is saying, not be caught up with your eyes. This is why I told us to walk by faith and not by sight. So you got to really, really listen to what's being said and not being fooled with your eyes, because your eyes are going to make you wonder and go off path. The same way John is looking at the woman in Revelation 17, he's wondering. You got to pay attention to exactly what they are saying. So Adam and Eve, as soon as Satan said opposite of what Yah said, they should have got away from him. Deuteronomy 13, verse 1. Deuteronomy 13 and verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet, there's going to be a prophet in the end, or a dreamer a dream, and giveth you a sign or a wonder, something to look at. Can't be fooled by your eyes. And the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen to him. Don't pay attention to what he's doing with the sign and the wonder, because that's going to get you. Listen to what he's saying. Yah told you have no other gods before me. He says, you shall not listen unto the words of that prophet or the dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim proveth you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Yahuwah. Yah walks in a straight line. He don't zigzag all over the place. You zigzag when you're drunk. You shall walk after the Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him, and that prophet or dreamer of dreams shall be put to death. We can see in Revelation that the false prophet is thrown into the lake of fire because he have spoken. Notice, it's the words that get you. Have spoken to turn you away from Yahuwah Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage and thrust you out of the way which Yahuwah Elohim commanded you to walk, so that you shall put the evil away from the midst of you. So Deuteronomy 13 is the false prophet killer. It means you can't look at the sign and the wonder because the sign and the wonder is going to deceive you. You got to pay attention to what he's saying. If it's opposite of what Yah has told you, it is the wine. Don't drink it, but the words are smooth and they make you feel good, which is what the wine does. It makes you feel good. It makes you do things that you normally wouldn't do. So I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember this story back in the day. It was in the 70s. It was a man named Jim Jones, and he had a cult, and he did something to the people. He caused about 800 to 900 people, if this is real, 800 to 900 people to drink a drink and to kill themselves. So y'all can look that up. So he made them drink of the wrath of his fornication, and many, many people died, right? So let's get Romans chapter 3, verse 9. Romans chapter 3, verse 9. It says, what then? Are we better than they? In no wise. For we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin, and that is as it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that understands, there is none that seeks after Elohim. They are all gone out of the way. Again, something caused them to go out the way. It's the wine. They are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues they have used deceit. Again, words, the tongue. The poison of asp is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Remember, it told you that the other woman is meek and humble, and she's beautiful and delicate, shamefaced. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their way, and the way of peace have they not known. There is no fear of Elohim before their eyes. Why don't you have fear? When you get under the influence of this wine, it causes you to lose all your fear, and it causes you to lose all your shame, and it causes you to do things that you would never do. So this fear takes over the kings of the earth. I mean, this wine takes over the kings of the earth and also anybody that drinks it. And all sin is linked back to one thing, and it's called pride. The pride of life is what Mashiach calls it. That is what this whore has in her cup, and she has spread it throughout the entire world. And most people are under this wine. Last script, let's get Ezekiel 40, no, Ezekiel 16, my bad. Ezekiel 16, verse 48. Pick it up, verse 47. Yet hast thou not walked after their ways, nor done after their abominations, but as if that were a very little thing, but you have, very little thing. Thou wast corrupted more than they in all your ways, as I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Sodom, thy sister, have not done, she nor her daughters, as you have done, and your daughters. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. So when we think of the sin of Sodom, we automatically think homosexuality. And that is the sin, but it's a sin that's underneath it, that caused it. Behold, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom, pride, fullness of bread, and the abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy. So the wine of Babylon, it is pride caused by confusion of mixing two things together that don't go together, which is truth and lies. It gives you a small bit of truth and a whole bunch of lies. And the only way to overcome it is to pay attention and to know Yah's word and to listen to what is being said. All of these false teachers are teaching you stuff and they are adding their own words into it, which is a part of the wine. With that, I turn this over and I hope y'all got something out of that.
Hallelujah. And Toda Rabbi, very edifying. And we had a whole lot of family online and a lot of comments. It was a lot. So while you were going, I couldn't really read the comments, but this has been a very edifying lesson, very eye opening. And Toda Rabbi, we've read about Potiphar. It was beautiful. I didn't even realize that he was a eunuch. So Toda taught us something
Hmm.
today. Hallelujah.
Praise y'all.
Pain. Hallelujah.
So,
Go ahead, Moreh. I'm sorry.
you may got any questions?
Family, do we have any questions or any edification? Hallelujah. If you can do us the honor, please. Online, Makoti Toya said, a part of the strong delusion, drinking of the wine. Hallelujah. Yes. And then she said, great revelation and breakdown, drunk with wine to make you not even fear Yah. And everybody online said, no questions. This was a beautiful, beautiful study. Toda.
Praise y'all.
Praise Yah. If you don't mind, would you pray us out for the evening?
Okay. Father and Shamaim, Yahuwah Abba, we come to you humbly with our hearts kneeled that we may follow you and you only, Father, you and your Son, that we be able to listen and absorb your word, not just to hear it, but to actually absorb your word, to take it in and that it nourish us and that we don't follow after subtle, evil, cunning words and we don't go after false truths with a lot of lies and only a small bit of truth, and that we not be under the influence of the wine of the whore. And we recognize it as soon as it happens, and we accept things for what they are and not for what they seem, and that we follow your ways, your son's ways, and only his ways, and that we come out of the delusions that we have been taught from these different people, and we put everything to the test according to his will and to his way and to his word, and that we put our will on the back burner and we do Yah's will over our will. Like when Mashiach says, nevertheless, not my will, but your will. In the name of your only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we pray these things, so be it.
Hallelujah. So be
Hallelujah.
it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
And hallelujah. Well, thank you again, Moreh. And I pray everybody has a blessed evening. Yah willing, we'll see our family on the 6 a.m. prayer call. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Y'all appreciate y'all for listening.